Hey, what's going on? Yes, it is. It's time for a blast from the past. This is KC Boxing Channel. Every week, I represent a boxer from a different era to show most boxers and most boxer fans how far boxing has come. Because if you're a boxer, you don't know how your future will be unless you knew how your past in boxing was. So therefore, I just want to read a few excerpts of this week, George Edward Foreman. Now, George Edward Foreman. He was born to J.D. and Nancy Foreman on January the 10th, 1949, in the town of Marshall, Texas. An impoverished youth, Foreman often bullied young children and didn't like getting up early for school. Well, who does, really? Foreman became a mugger and brawler on the hard streets of Houston. Now, let's not forget the Charlo brothers. They're from Houston, Texas. In the 5th Ward by age 15. Luckily, he was saved by the Lyndon B. Johnson Job Corps, a program developed to help disadvantaged kids by teaching them the vocational job skills. Now that's giving back to the community. Just passing out money, that's not giving back. Giving back is building something meaningful for the community and doing it with the vocational job skills from a boys job corps. That's giving back. Anyway, Foreman traveled to California, where he met Doc Broadus, who was a job corps counselor and a boxing coach. He was Broadus who encouraged Foreman to become a boxer. Once he began to train at the gym, Foreman rapidly established an impressive amateur record. The culmination of his amateur boxing career came at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City, where he won a gold medal in only his 25th amateur fight. He got extra attention when he brandished an American flag after his win. Now, these are the words of George Foreman. There was a big element of patriotism in what I did. Being in the Olympics, you couldn't help but love your country more than before. Foreman said in his autobiography by George, but I meant it in a way that was much bigger than ordinary people or ordinary patriotism. It was about identity and American. That's who I was. I was waving the flag as much for myself as for the country. I was letting everyone know who I was, and at the same time saying that I was proud, very proud to be American. In 1969, Foreman turned professional. And within 2 years, Foreman was ranked the #1 challenger by none other than the WBA and WBC. By 1972, Foreman had a perfect, 37-0 record, which included 35 knockouts. Foreman got his shot at the World Heavyweight Championship when he fought Joe Frazier on January the 22nd, 1973, in Kingston, Jamaica. Frazier was the favorite going into the bout, but Foreman knocked him down 6 times on the route to a second round knockout. An unprecedented TV audience watched Foreman become the champ because the fight was HBO Boxing's first ever broadcast. Wow. Now, look how far HBO has come. They pretty much is non-existent now compared to Showtime. But they aired the first heavyweight bout with George Foreman and Joe Frazier. After becoming a champion, Foreman successfully defended his title twice. He beat Puerto Rican heavyweight champion Jose Roman in only 50 seconds, which at the time was the shortest heavyweight championship match ever. Foreman also beat Ken Norton, who had just beaten Muhammad Ali in a mere 2 rounds. One of those 2 fights then set up one of the most famous fights in history. Now, we all remember this. The Rumble in the Jungle. That was between Foreman and Muhammad Ali. Ali's used a tactic later known as rope-a-dope to wear out Foreman, who 300 punches during the fight. Who threw 300 punches during the fight. Then at the 8th round, Ali unloaded with a series of punches that knocked out Foreman and allowed Ali to gain a heavyweight championship of the world. Now, this part is when Foreman becomes a preacher. After not fighting in 1975, Foreman returned to boxing and won 5 consecutive fights, all by knockout. Then in Puerto Rico on March 17, 1977, Foreman lost in a decision to Jimmy Young. He was in his dressing room after the fight. That Foreman had a religious experience that changed his life forever. Foreman gave up boxing and became a born-again Christian. He was ordained a minister in 1978 and began preaching in his hometown, Houston, Texas. In 1984, he founded the George Foreman Youth and Community Center, a non-denominational place for kids who need direction like he once did. In 1980, Foreman founded the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. However, by the mid-1980s, Foreman was running out of money and people around him were advising him to close the Youth and Community Center. Foreman saw how much the center was helping people, so he was determined to do what was necessary to keep it open. In 1987, after not fighting for almost years to the date, Foreman returned to the ring. See, just want to reiterate something here. A lot of fighters that was great at what they did went on to retire, but I'm going to put a but there. They always either lose their money or turn to drugs or alcohol. And in this case with George Foreman, he had a lot on his plate financially wise, and he had to go back to fighting after not fighting for many years. And that's what we have to try to stop. You know, once fighters retire, they should have some type of retirement plan, or and, you know, something where they are fighting, they put into that plan. They can do that. Then once they officially retire and not come back, they have access to those funds. That'd be good. But as I go on, while there was no shortage of detractors, Foreman proved them all wrong when he kept piling up win after win. In fact, Foreman had won 24 consecutive fights during his comeback, including 22 by knockout. Now at age 42, Foreman's success and popularity earned him a chance at the title against unbeaten Evander Holyfield. The fight went the full 12 rounds, and while Holyfield won in a decision, Big George, gained a great deal of credibility. Oh, yes, he did. After more than 1 year at the ring, on November 5th, 1994, Foreman took on the new champ, Michael Moore, and knocked him out in the 10th round. With the victory at the age of 45, Foreman became the oldest fighter ever to win the heavyweight crown, as well as the boxer with the most time between one world championship and the next. Foreman gave away his titles in 1995 after defending them against Axel Schultz and refusing a rematch. Foreman ultimately retired in 1997 after compiling an amazing 76-5 career record. Now, Big George got into a little business type. It's called the George Foreman, the lean and mean grilling machine. We all remember how they call it the George Burger machine, where you can make pretty much hamburgers by using this machine. And actually, we have one. We have one where George Foreman's signature is right there on the top. And as I move on, put your name on something, he says. It's better be the best. You only got one shot. Since the early 1990s, Foreman had discovered his talent for salesmanship. And by the end of the decade, he was making millions off his appearances in infomercials, marketing the George Foreman Lean Mean Grilling Machine. To date, more than 100 million of the units have sold worldwide. Foreman also spent a decade promoting Meineke car care centers and grew the business to over 1,000 franchises. He has now successfully launched a line of environmental safe cleaning products, a exclusively line of personal care products, a prescription shoe for diabetics to prevent amputation, a restaurant franchise called You Food Grill, 10 books, and the list continues to build. Foreman tends to his ministry at the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ, where he preaches 4 times a week. He also loves spending free time with his family on his ranch in Marshall, Texas. And that is a little information on George Edward Foreman. No, he is not deceased. He still is going strong. He have a few sons. Well, he have 4 sons named George. So he comes George number 1, George number 2, George number 3, George number 4, but it's legal, and he did it. Now, as I read that short autobiography of George Foreman, of course, there's many more information on him and in his books. Now, if you want to, you can find his book in detail at any of your Barnes and Noble's bookstore. I believe the price is $6.99 paperback, and it's great to read about greatness. And with that, I'm glad I started this series. This is the third Saturday that I have done this, and I still, to this day, believe that a boxer and a boxing fan have a lot in common. We both, first of all, love boxing, and number two, we both know where boxing is today. We don't know where boxing will be tomorrow, but we can say we know what boxing was in the past. Why? Because the blasts from the past tell boxers where they've been and basically where they're going. And with that, I'm KC Boxing Channel. If you like where this channel is going as a new channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you would like to get information as I upload my videos, please hit the notification bell. You will get notified. And also, if you like what you heard about Big George Edward Foreman, please hit the like button. We didn't get too many views with Archie Moore last Saturday, but hopefully this Saturday we'll get many more. And with that, I will see you on the next one. Peace. Everybody have a great weekend.